How's it going, guys? Mr. Schaefer back with you. We're back on our miraculous journey with our favorite rabbit, Edward Tulane. Hope you're doing good with everything right now, and I hope that your day is going well. Today, we are going to start on chapter 7, which is page 51 if you're in the book, or you can look at the screenshots that are on here with us. But like always, let's set our bookmark, right? Let's go back in our book, see where we're at. And the last thing I see was something that kind of hits me kind of hard with Edward here. It said Edward Tulane was afraid. It was the first genuine and true emotion. Because imagine so far, like what kind of emotions is he showing so far, right? Not many, right? Besides kind of annoyed, kind of upset with the way people treat him or talk to him, or wrinkle his clothes, or don't face him sitting the right way when they sit him down. So he hasn't shown a lot of caring and a lot of emotion quite yet. But first emotion he's ever felt, true emotion, there it is, being scared. And why was he scared? I look at the picture here. He's sinking to the bottom of the ocean. So as he laid there on the mud, in the muck, face down, that's where he's at. So I see a wave coming. So I'm gonna make a quick prediction. Hope they get him off the bottom of the ocean so that he's not just obviously. Oh my! And I just noticed. Look closely at this picture. Look right there. That looks like Eddie to me. Remember, he's naked because the kids on the boat took his clothes off of him and threw him around, and that's why he went overboard in the first place, right? So no more does he have his pocket watch. No more does he have his fancy silk suits and scarves. He's naked at the bottom of the ocean. All right, so let's see what happens here in chapter 7. We may go into chapter 8 as well. We'll see how it goes. All right, here we go. He told himself that certainly Abilene would come and find him. This, Edward thought, is much like waiting for Abilene to come home from school. I will pretend that I am in the dining room of the house on Egypt Street, waiting for the little hand to move to the 3 and the big hand to land on the 12. If I only had my watch, then I would know for sure. But it doesn't matter. She will be here soon. Very soon. What do you think about that? Right? There's no way she's going in the ocean, right? Hours passed, and then days, and weeks, and months. Abilene did not come. Edward, for lack of anything better to do, began to think. He thought about the stars. He remembered what they looked like from his bedroom window. What made them what made them shine so brightly, he wondered. And were they still shining somewhere even though he could not see them? Never in my life, he thought, have I been further away from the stars than I am now. He considered, too, the fate of the beautiful princess who had become a warthog. Why had she become a warthog? Because the ugly witch turned her into one. That was why. And then the rabbit thought about Pellegrina. He felt, in some way, that he could not explain to himself that she was responsible for what had happened to him. It was almost as if she, and not the boys, who had thrown Edward overboard. She was like the witch in the story. No, she was the witch in the story. True, she did not turn him into a warthog, but just the same, she was punishing him. Although for what, he could not say. On the 297th day of Edward's ordeal, a storm came. The storm was so powerful that it lifted Edward off the ocean floor and led him in a crazy, wild, and spinning dance. The water pummeled him and lifted him up and shoved him back down. Help, thought Edward. The storm, in its ferocity, actually flung him all the way out of the sea, and the rabbit glimpsed, for a moment, the light of an angry and bruised sky. The wind rushed through his ears. It sounded to him like Pellegrina laughing. But before he had time to appreciate being above water, he was tossed back down into the depths. Up and down, Back and forth he went until the storm wore itself out, and Edward saw that he was beginning, again, his slow descent to the ocean floor. He was almost there for 300 days in the bottom of the ocean. What about this connection he's making to Pellegrina and the story of the witch and all that kind of stuff? He's blaming her for what happened to him, and she's not even there, right? Something to think about, right? This author's giving us some hints and clues, or I feel like he's trying to tell us something, but I don't know what it is yet. Oh, help me, he thought. I can't go back there. Help me. But still, down he went. Down, down, down. And then suddenly, the great, wide net of a fisherman reached out and grabbed the rabbit. The net lifted him higher and higher until there was almost unbearable explosion of light, and Edward was back in the world, lying on the deck of the ship, surrounded by fish. Hey, what's this? Said a voice. Ain't no fish, said another voice. That's for sure. The light was so brilliant that it was hard for Edward to see. But finally, shapes appeared out of the light, and then faces, and Edward realized that he was looking up at two men, one young and one old. Looks like some toy, said the grizzly old man. He bent and picked up Edward and held him by his front paws, considering him. A rabbit, I reckon. It's got whiskers. Rabbit ears, or shape of rabbit ears at least. Yeah, sure, a rabbit toy, said the younger man, and then turned away. I'll take it home to Nellie. Let her fix him up and set it to rights. Give it to some child. The old man placed Edward carefully on a crate, positioning him so that he was sitting up and he could look out at the sea. Edward appreciated the courtesy of this small gesture, but he was heartily sick of the ocean and would have been satisfied never to set eyes on it again. There you go, said the old man. As they made their way back to the shore, Edward felt the sun on his face and the wind blowing through the little bit of fur left on his ears, and something filled his chest. A wonderful feeling. He was glad to be alive. Look at the rabbit, the old man said. Looks like he's enjoying the ride, don't it? Yep, said the young man. In fact, Edward Tulane was so happy to be back among the living that he did not take umbrage at being referred to as it. So what do you think of that? First of all, I'm glad he's out of the bottom of the ocean, right? I'm glad he got out. And those of you who predicted a fisherman that were going to get him, good job, you got it. But again, we have some feelings happening again right here, right? He was thinking, he was feeling, he was glad to be alive. To me, that sounds like an emotion, right? And look, the fisherman even called him it, and he said he doesn't even care. He's so happy to be not in the bottom of the ocean that really doesn't matter to him right now. So a little bit of change going on with Edward, it seems like. All right, we're going to read chapter 8 also. Okay, and here is Edward with his little rabbit friend. Or sorry, there's Edward with their fisherman guy here. Look at Edward. Not like he used to look, right? Looks like he's still got seaweed on him. Looks all torn up, no clothes, no nothing. So let's see what happens with chapter 8 here. On land, the old fisherman stopped to light a pipe, and then, with the pipe clenched between his teeth, he walked home, carrying Edward atop his left shoulder as if he were a conquering hero. The fisherman balanced him there, placing a calloused hand at Edward's back. He talked to him in a soft, low voice as they walked. You'll like Nellie, you will, said the old man. She's had her sadness, but she's an all right girl. Edward looked at the small town blanketed in dusk, a jumble of buildings huddled together, the ocean stretching out in front of it all, and he thought that he would like anything and anybody that was not at the bottom of the sea. "Hello, Lawrence," called a woman from the front of the shop. "What have you got?" "Fresh catch," said the fisherman. "Fresh rabbit from the sea." He lifted his cap to the lady and kept walking. "There you are now," said the fisherman. He took the pipe out of his mouth and pointed with the stem of it at the star in the purpling sky. "There's your North Star right there. Don't ever have to be lost when you know where that fella is." Edward considered the brightness of the small star. "Do they all have names?" he wondered. "Listen to me," said the fisherman. "Talking to a toy. Oh well, here we are then." And with Edward still on his shoulder, the fisherman walked up a stone-lined path and into a little green house. "Look here, Nellie," he said. "I brought you something from the sea." "I don't want anything from the sea," came a voice. "Oh, now, don't be like that, Nell. Come see then." An old woman stepped out from the kitchen, wiping her hands on an apron. When she saw Edward, she dropped the apron and clapped her hands together and said, "Oh, Lawrence, you brung me a rabbit." "Direct from the sea," said Lawrence. He took Edward off his shoulder and stood him up on the floor and held onto his hands and made him take a deep bow in the direction of Nellie. "Oh," said Nellie, "here." She clapped her hands together again, and Lawrence passed Edward to her. Nellie held the rabbit out in front of her and looked him over from tip to toe. She smiled. "Have you ever in your life seen anything so fine?" she said. Edward felt immediately that Nellie was a very discerning woman. "She's beautiful," breathed Nellie. For a moment, Edward was confused. Was there some other object of beauty in the room? "What will I call her?" "Susanna," said Lawrence. "Just right," said Nellie. "Susanna." She looked deep into Edward's eyes. "First off, Susanna will need some clothes, won't she?" And that's the end of the chapter. So now we got the fisherman with his wife, and she is so happy to get Edward, but she calls him a girl and wants to name him Susanna. So, hmm, pretty interesting, right? It sounds like a new life, a new journey starting for Edward. Well, should I call him Susanna, I guess? Oh, I gotta show you this. Look at chapter 9. He's in his dress. Pretty awesome. All right, we'll pick up with chapter 9 next time, guys. I'll talk to you soon.